Hello, everybody. I'm Spencer Wright.
Hi, I'm Belafish.
Ash, you want to say hello?
Hello, I'm Asher.
And this is Rumi. Thank you all so much for giving us the opportunity to be on Field Supply. I mean, there's so many amazing people who have been doing this, I think, a lot longer than us, and really it's a source of inspiration for us. So we are definitely humbled to kind of be associated with all that, and are really excited about it. So this is our latest project. Our first project that really got us started was a tiny house on wheels out in California. It really kind of changed our lives to get engaged with that, and gave us this opportunity to create something from the ground up, which is something we'd never really gotten to engage with.
Spencer, I'm going to play downstairs.
Oh, okay. And I think yeah, definitely.
Let me get my boots.
Okay.
I'll be quick so that I don't get all rained on.
And as you see, it's very much like a home-based.
Nice.
Well, I didn't mean to.
Stop bumping me.
It's very much a home-based business, which is our goal, is to kind of be at home and be working on stuff. So the tiny house got us hooked on this creative lifestyle, and now, unfortunately, that all ended in a fire, and we lost all of that.
We lost it in the recent
Except
wildfires.
my swan.
Except for Swan. But the best thing I think that we found about these creative projects is that energy and everything that you learn in the process of doing that sticks with you. So we're really hoping to take a lot of that and apply it to this new project. So if we want to give you a little tour and show you what it's about and kind of look at our perspective on home life and design and stuff like that. Okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
So this is yeah.
Go for it. Yeah, this home is in the North Carolina mountains. It's about 730 square feet, and we really love working with small spaces.
It gives you a lot of freedom to redesign anything you want. So right now we haven't done anything yet. We've been in the house for about a month, so mostly it's been planning and stuff like that. The first thing that's going to be happening is we're going to be changing all of the floors over to hardwood. We're going to be demolishing this and doing a build-in table. We have access to some really, really cool materials around here, and so we've got some rosewood slabs that we're going to put on the top. And back in the back as well, we'll be doing a breakfast bar build-in. And Bella's going to be doing photography and stuff all throughout this and producing a lot of it, so we really hope to share it with people. Let's see. And other than that, we've got the 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. It's really very well contained. And for us, we
Oops. Sorry, guys.
we really like that sizing because it allows us to think up exactly what we want to do and then go at it and attack it, and it's not ever unmanageable.
Yeah.
And we usually go towards kind of 2 different design principles when we're doing these spaces that we really picked up from the tiny house. The first is getting rid of our storage. I mean,
we're literally demolishing most of our cabinetry.
All the cabinetry will almost all go, and we don't really like to replace it with new storage. We kind of feel like the more storage we have, the more junk we accumulate.
Yeah.
And the less junk we have, the more opportunity we have to bring in really special particular pieces to center the rest of the house around. Outside of that, I think is a big focus on a diversity of natural materials.
And bringing the outdoors in. I think that's a big thing for us, is making the home feel less boxy and more just like you're in nature. So we've got a lot of natural light, a lot of nice windows around here. And I want to show you these pieces. These are actually from Dana, DBO. Her pottery is amazing, and we've been collecting these natural treasures outside and making little sculpture pieces with them.
So you want to go outside for a minute, Bill? So it's raining, but I think we can make it work. When we first got started in all this, we knew we wanted to spend a bunch of time working and designing on these houses. We had to find a way to make it work. And what we leaned on with the tiny house was short-term rentals on the back end. So it gives us the freedom to design in the way that we want. But then at the end, we can use it as a retreat space for other people and for ourselves as well. And to give us more flexibility to get out and travel and also work from home. I'm a stay-at-home dad.
He's been at home ever since Escher's been born, which has been such a big boon to our family. Go ahead, Spencer.
Yeah, and Bella's been able to transition to remote, but you know, we want to get her in it full time too. So right now I get the opportunity to do it full time along with the kids, but Bella has to share a lot of her time still with her work, and we're hoping to change that over the next 5 years. So we'll see how successful we are.
So let's show you a little bit of the property. Beautiful fall leaves out here.
Yeah, so from over here all the way around is ours to play with. We already have 2 little cottages back here that we're going to walk out and show you.
Yeah.
And then we are working on we're going to work on rebuilding the tiny house that was burned down.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're getting pretty close on organizing the financing and stuff like that to do that. And we would do it right back there. And we build it on site this time and get a lot of freedom to design it how we want. Last time we worked with a builder. This time we'll still probably work with somebody to help with the framing, but we would do most of the interior work ourselves and the finishing work ourselves. Okay, so we're coming downstairs. Let's see. Can you make it fit?
Yeah, I'll get it. You go ahead.
Okay. There's a basement downstairs that is just loaded with flooring and furniture and children. And actually David, the builder of our first tiny house, is in there too right now. I lost the video here somehow. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, guys.
There, press that. There.
Okay, and at some point I think we're going to have to change over to a different Wi-Fi to get out to the cottages. We'll just see how that might have a hiccup.
You hold the camera.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, this poor baby.
So we've got 1.5 acres out here, and it feels really private. We really love being in the forest and in the mountains. There's just something about that energy that's so peaceful and calming to the soul. So walking down towards the cottages and the loft. Oh, let people know if they have questions.
Yeah, we are watching. If anybody does have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. And also, we're just happy to show you guys what's going on. Either way.
I got it.
Can you open that up though?
Yeah. I'm having
goodness.
a hard time. I know. There we go. Okay.
Cool. Oh, goodness, that's good. Okay, so here are the 2 units that we have set up so far. So you got one little cottage over here and another kind of lofted shed over here. These guys, we're still working on the interior of, but they should kind of be up and maybe renting in a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can focus pretty much 100% on the main house and the new tiny house. So, fingers crossed that keeps going well. Do you want to go inside of them?
Well,
we might
let's
lose
see
connection.
Yeah, we might lose connection. I think maybe
We're gonna
just
walk
show them from the outside. Okay. So this is the little cottage. It's mostly just a little bedroom with a reading nook on the side. And then the loft over there has a downstairs living area, and upstairs mostly just a bedroom. And our experience, we got into this, honestly, we were on our honeymoon. We stayed in this beautiful cabin that just had a lofted bedroom, a tiny little kitchen. And it was just the most amazing experience. We did not want to leave. We had a trip scheduled to Chicago that we tried to cancel just to stay there for longer. Always inspired by staying in spaces and sharing.
Okay, you want to head back?
Yeah, let's head back. We've got a question. Did we build the cottage ourselves, or was it existing?
We got very lucky, and the cottages were there themselves, so that gives us the freedom to kind of focus on just the adding one. We probably will do some expansions. They don't have bathrooms right now, so we think that that's something we're going to be able to handle this coming year and get done along with the tiny house.
Yeah, add some bathrooms, add a cedar soak tub to each of those, hopefully. You're fine. I know. It's so rainy out here. Okay.
Okay. Well, that's the property right now. Like I said, we're kind of just getting started on it. A lot will be taking shape within the next month. Really,
Yeah,
it should be done at the tables and the building on the interior, and we'll start actually moving in and getting to do a lot of the more fun interior design stuff.
Yeah.
Rather than just like remodeling. So, which is also fun. But
we'll start with the flooring, and then we'll paint all the rooms and get the rentals up and going.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Let's talk about small space living, I think.
Okay.
And the benefits of that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think probably one of my favorite things about it is how it brings the whole family together. We homeschool Escher right now and kind of have since she was born. And it's, I don't know. I mean, it's really great, I think, having not a whole lot of space to distract us and then just a smaller space that we can focus on and center our lives around. It's just really simple and easy.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is less stuff and part of it is family togetherness. It was so beautiful in the tiny house, like when Escher would wake up, and we could hear her singing from her little lofted bedroom. It was so sweet. There's just something about the whole family sharing a small space together. And, it's nothing new. Our homes have gotten larger and larger with the decades. And the larger of a home you have, the more stuff you have to fill it with. So then the less money you can spend on each individual piece. And I think that's a huge principle for us, is being able to invest in really quality items, single pieces that stand out in a small space. And we love Field and Supply for that.
There was a question about picking North Carolina. For us, it was definitely motivated by family. We both have family in North Carolina. Also, we really like it. It's a beautiful area. It's very diverse. When we had the tiny house before it was destroyed, the plan had been, and maybe it will still be again, but to have properties in different places that we could take our time, develop the way that we wanted to, use them as rentals to make that, work for us financially, and then be able to kind of visit these places that we loved. So we wanted a place that was near family. Not that we would necessarily be here all the time, which maybe now we will be, but somewhere that we would have an easier way to visit family when we wanted to, and somewhere just to work that made sense.
Even with kids, we tend to really still like being mobile and moving around and kind of migrating from place to place. So our idea going into the tiny house was to set up a few homes in different places that we love, share them with others on Airbnb, build our own family business by doing that, and also always get to travel to our own homes. And of course, the tiny house was a bit of a setback, but I think we'll be able to recover. Yeah.
So. Yeah. Okay.
What else?
Well,
let's see. Any other questions you guys have? Anything about small space or home decor in general, we're happy to talk about.
Yeah, I'm going to say a bit about it. Yeah, and to say we are just getting started, but Chad has been really receptive to the whole project, and really excited. We're going to be publishing some stuff, I think, on Field and Supply as we're doing more work.
Yeah.
And they're going to be keeping up with what's happening on the project. So
little monthly updates to be rolling out
some pretty exciting stuff.
We'll keep you guys posted on all of it through Field and Supply, and would love to have you all follow along.
Okay. I mean,
should we go back inside?
Sure.
Here, will you hold this? I'll get the umbrella.
Okay.
We've got a question. Two questions. What's the plan for the new cottage, and then what's most exciting about renovation?
Yeah, the new cottage, I think, is definitely going to be another tiny house on wheels. So the goal is going to be to re-envision, recreate the old house as best we can. And I think we can probably do better. And, you know, we're hoping to get out to California over the next little bit and recover whatever we can, material-wise, to see if we can't reuse some of that stuff. Yes, you may.
Because you're never going to use it.
I'm never going to use it. Well, don't break it, okay? Because I am going to use it, actually. Just don't break it. I'll tell you about it in a little bit, okay?
Tell me what you're going to do with it.
I might have to pack something up with it, okay?
But it's so small.
Yeah, I know.
What can you pack up in it?
The humidifier.
There's a maze.
Yeah, the humidifier.
Yeah, so the new cottage, the new tiny house will be very similar to our old tiny house, but even better, we hope. I think we learned a lot from building the first one and which spaces we use more often than others. The cottage back there will mostly just be a really luxurious bedroom with a beautiful canopy hanging overhead, and a soak tub for each rental.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the most exciting part of the renovation process? We haven't answered that.
I mean, I think the way that we do it, I think kind of the most exciting thing is that we usually are starting renovating like they're our own home. So it's kind of fun to set that vision for what you think the space can be and get in there and try and bring it out. And then we aren't having to like flip or something like that. So we're not selling right away. We get to really enjoy the house and enjoy the homes and really feel like we're creating the spaces for ourselves, but then ultimately get to share it with other people.
And I love that we get to work together. It's such a fun project to get to do together as a team.
Yeah, and it works really well with the family. I think it's smooth for Escher to be around it, and I don't know, it's just a really good vibe.
So on the other side, we've got what's the most daunting part of this particular project. I think for me, it's really our first big one that we're doing, besides the tiny house, but we're doing so much of this ourselves.
Yeah, I think, I agree. Also, I think it's those first few steps to me are the hardest, because you're having to hold in your mind this entire thing, how it all connects together, and the intricacies of where the light's coming in, and where are the good views that you're trying to capture and recover, and how you're going to create that, and all the different sort of aesthetic schemes that you have to come up with, and doing all of it at once before you've even made one move is the toughest. And once you start making those decisions, it starts rolling and coming easier. But definitely because the tiny house was very much a fresh design, kind of not out of nothing, but we did a lot to adapt that. And those beginning steps were a lot. But once you get it, then it gets a lot easier. What's that? What's that?
Ash can come say hi. So let's see. Do we have a favorite part of the land? Is another question.
Oh man, I feel like the outdoors have always got to be the answer, you know. But the foliage is amazing. I have been in love with all of the mushrooms and stuff that are growing on the ground, and drying and preserving those and using those in little compositions has been really fun. But yeah, we're fortunate. We've been fortunate with both our houses to have really great natural landscapes that I feel like our job is just to bring those out and not, separate ourselves from those, and instead try and find ways to either bring them literally inside or orient the house so that we can be always aiming ourselves in that direction.
Yeah, I think as much as possible, bringing the outside in is a huge principle that we try to work with. And along that note, we've got, other than DBO, do we have favorite field and supply makers? Yeah, so DBO has amazing, beautiful pottery. I'm really inspired, we're both really inspired by Ian Love and his work, where he takes these natural elements and just makes them into these beautiful art pieces. I think it's very inspirational. I love Hudson Made and their bath items. Let's see, in Earth, I forgot how to pronounce that maker, but they've got these beautiful pillows and blankets. Let me think. Those are the names that are coming to me, but so much of it. I mean, I generally browse Field and Supply to be inspired for what to put in our home.
Yeah, and how to design the home.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, approximately how much does it cost to build a tiny house, and how do we budget That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, it is wildly varied.
It kind of depends on what you want from the house. You know, approaching tiny homes, some people like to approach it as a way of breaking free from debt. So they try to build it on as small of a budget as possible. For us, we were really trying to build the best home that we could for the money. So we were really maximizing.
Well, we were taking the 300 square feet and using that as an opportunity to take whatever investment we could cobble together and get the most out of that. So when we built the house the first time, we budgeted $130,000 for it, which at the time for tiny houses was a lot. And for us, it was like a humongous gamble because we had no idea how it was going to turn out. These days, there have been some more expensive tiny houses, and I mean, you know, you can spend a lot more on it. We're probably hoping to come in somewhere around the same on this next tiny house, but we'll do a lot of work ourselves. So we're hoping to stretch that very far. And that's where I'd say, like, tiny houses give you that opportunity. Hey, here's David. This is the man
who built and designed
our first tiny house. And it's
amazing
a very good friend
work.
of ours.
This is David Latimer of New Frontier. Yeah.
Good to see y'all.
So, how much does a tiny home cost?
Yeah, David.
How much does a car cost? How much does a normal house cost? How much does a watch cost? How much does any product cost?
Exactly. It's tough. I mean, the sky's the limit, but also some people do it for $30,000. Some people do it for $200,000.
Definitely.
And the coolest thing I think about the type of house is that you have that range and that you can get so much out of every dollar you're spending in it because you have so much control over what you're spending in it.
Yeah.
On the flip side, it's complicated legally and, as we found out, insurance-wise and stuff like that. But and financing is complicated, but you get rewards for it, for sure.
You do.
I think one of our shared philosophies, in addition to a bunch of design qualities and elements, is you know, when you're downsizing, we both ascribe to. They live this principle much more than I do, but love everything you have. Right? Don't just mindlessly consume and have 3, 4, 5 of some product. When you downsize, I think part of our thing is downsize and upgrade. So every appliance you get, every fixture, get something great. I mean, it's going to be economical, more economical in the long run because it's going to last longer, perform better. Yeah, I mean, that's, there's so many. I talked to somebody yesterday from Business Insider, and there's countless, tiny home companies that offer them at very low cost. So, I think ours is driven towards quality, not compromising quality of materials, of craftsmanship, and of design, and the price is reflected in that.
We've got another question. If the tiny house is on wheels, how does plumbing and water work?
Hi.
Oh, that's such a fun question. That was one of the coolest things about moving into a tiny house is getting to learn about all this stuff where water doesn't come from your sink just by magic.
Hi. Why can't I hear him?
Well, they're not talking back.
Yeah, they're not talking back.
They're talking back to your question.
But yeah, you hook up to, we had our tiny house hooked up to a hose and to water. Some people go completely off the grid and carry around a gray water tank and water with them.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways of doing it.
The easiest way to deal with the disposal is we're just reintegrating the water. So sometimes you're doing just a little bit of biofiltration and then letting it go right back into the land. If you're careful about what soaps and stuff you're using, it's pretty easy. And then usually with like black water toilet stuff, you either are gonna have to have a septic, or there are a lot of options that are waterless. So there are incinerating toilets that are really quite good now. There are kind of toilets that dry out all the business. They call them kind of composting toilets. Usually no real composting goes on, but they're something like that. And they're pretty good. They really are pretty good these days. So, and electricity, we're fortunate to have utilities, and if we set it up again here, we'll have utilities as well. So, and we'll probably do a septic.
So we're coming up on the end. We've got about 4 minutes left. So if you guys have any questions for us, we'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, maybe we'll get Asher to sing a
Otherwise,
song.
we can just go play with the baby.
Yeah, we'll play with the baby. She just woke up.
Ash, what do you think about the new house?
Yeah, Ash, tell us what you think about the new house.
What new one?
Our new house here.
I think it's pretty good.
What was your favorite
What's
part
your favorite
about our
part?
tiny house?
octopus.
She had a stuffed octopus there.
What's your favorite part about this house? You have one?
Bun bun.
Bun bun.
Bun bun for stuffed animals. We've got, how many kids do we have? For now, just these two.
2.
Yeah.
5 sounds nice.
5 sounds really
We'll see if we have the
The
endurance.
tenacity.
The
Yeah,
tenacity.
exactly.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
What else you think?
Yeah.
Anything?
Very quickly. You will fall.
I don't know.
Yeah, hold on. Very quickly.
I think we covered basically everything that we want to. Chad, do you have anything for us?
Okay. Okay, cool.
Okay. Are you going to change the exterior of this house?
You know, the exterior, did we show that? It has kind of a burnt, it has kind of
yeah,
a
let's
charred
go
hemlock
upstairs.
on it right now. And it's pretty good. We'll have to redo the roof, I think, like next year, but and maybe change it to a metal or something like that, but that's not a big deal. The one change on that I would say that we really, really want to do, and we're just exploring the feasibility, is changing out this door right here. We'd really like to take it up to the ceiling and widen it out. Just to, I mean, eliminate that wall. When it's a small space that opens up all of the forest, if we can do it. And I think those sorts of things, they tend to be big expenses, but they pay out just forever. And so we definitely lean towards finding those sorts of investments on the house. So we're really trying to make it work. It's just we don't know yet if it will. So well, it can, it's just a cost issue. So.
And we are right outside of Asheville. We're in Fairview, North Carolina. We have a question for where in North Carolina we are. There's just something about the mountains, both in California and here, that speaks to us. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a favorite area.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area. How did we decide on this house? Oh, man.
It took about 8 months.
It took, about 8 months of browsing, and also during coronavirus, house shopping.
Yeah, we were contracted on another house. It was a settle. It was definitely, we had searched for a long time and just felt like, at the time, Bella's grandfather was terminally ill, and we wanted him to move in with us to spend the rest of his life. Somewhere nice.
Somewhere beautiful.
And so we tried to go ahead and move forward with it, and then that was right before coronavirus broke out. The person didn't want to extend the contract until we kind of saw what was happening, and so we had to cancel that contract.
But luckily, we kept looking, and this house is just so much better for what we're looking for. And we
as soon as we saw it, we just jumped all over it.
Yeah, I was 9 months
pregnant. Would not leave them
pregnant.
alone until they sold us the house, pretty much.
And we closed while I was 9 months pregnant. Moved in when Rumi, this little one, was 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It is noon. We've got one more question. Are you gutting the entire thing or just renovating?
Well, to do the floors, we'll take it down to the subfloor. The subfloor seems like it's okay and won't need to be changed. And it's 40 years old. The house is 40 years old, so there's some issues with the joists and stuff like that, but they're cosmetic. So we don't have to do. There is no structural issue with the house that requires absolute major rehabilitations. So we're fortunate in that we can largely just rearrange the finishing. So we'll go down to the subfloor, and then mostly it's going to be installing cosmetic changes, maybe changing doors, maybe installing accent beams on the top of the roof, doing a lot of painting, doing some build-in tables and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a big thing when we were looking for the houses to try to not get something that would need rehabilitation. This is the first house that we're working with, not from scratch, because the tiny house we got to have it just
build it from the
ground up. From the ground up. So we didn't want to bite off too much that we could chew, because we didn't want to get bogged down for years on it. We needed something that we could kind of manage in a year or two and get it to where we were happy with it.
Well, we should probably wrap it up. Though we do have one more question, but we've got. What are some of the things we learned when designing these multiple tiny homes for our own use, as well as sharing them with short-term renters?
Yeah, I think, I think something really big is just that taking these small spaces and trying to make each space have this special sort of transcendental feeling in it. It's one of the reasons why we love integrating heated cedar soak tubs into the houses, because it gives you this space where this place where you go, it feels a world apart. Even though it's only, you know, 10 feet away from where you just were, it feels totally different. And each space, if you can kind of really be isolating that small space and trying to do it in a way that makes it special, that takes the small space and makes it feel much, much, much larger. Our tiny house is only 300 square feet, but we like to think that it had, I think it's something like 9 distinct spaces in it.
Yeah.
And each one of those was
They all
designed
felt
to
different.
feel very different from the other ones and to offer something very different. So you always felt like you were transitioning from space to space and not just captured. A lot of,
And the other thing I think that we love to share with others is that you don't miss your stuff. Like when you go travel to a luxury hotel or some place that's just a room, you don't miss all the stuff that you have at home, and less truly is more. And I think that's a good note to end on. So thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to have you follow along with our renovations. And yeah, hope to talk to you guys more.